All right. After the show, it's the AfterB.O. Welcome, everyone, to the AfterB.O web exclusive here on the B.O. Boys YouTube channel. This is the only way to get this exclusive content is to watch us on YouTube. So, Clayton, we're coming off of just another fantastic episode of the podcast. We had Wanna.B.O senior intern Christopher as our guest. He's talking about his 4-movie day, his epic movie Saturday. I mean, that really brought back a lot of memories to when we were young and virile, and we used to spend an entire day in a movie theater.
Well, because things are so different now. So, for one, there was no subscription services at all. This was pre-Movie Pass.
We were doing these movie sneaks. I would say, 2012, 13, 14 maybe, right? Because I'm thinking of some of the movies that we saw were White House Down. I remember that was a big one, and that came out 2013.
The original Jack Reacher.
The original Jack Reacher. I'm going to bet you that is, that probably is 2012. So so we basically did these in 2012 and 2013. And we would do these days where we saw, I think our record was 4.5, where we saw 4 complete movies. And then we ended, I remember, by seeing the last half hour of 7 Psychopaths.
Yes.
At 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we did also do one where we went, our last movie was, we timed it pretty perfectly to see Anne Hathaway's Oscar scene from Les Mis.
Yes. And then left. But that's all you needed to see from that movie.
Absolutely.
But
that, and then no MacGuffins. Like we were sustaining ourselves on trail mix that we brought in. We
would bring in Dwayne Reed snacks.
Yeah, you didn't have these places other than maybe the Nighthawk existed and stuff, but regular theaters did not have food options the way they do now. No alcohol, because could you imagine how rip-roaring drunk we would have gotten during parental guidance?
Yes, the famous vomit scene when Billy Crystal vomits.
Gets hit in the nuts and vomits.
I mean, medically accurate. Accurate. You kick someone in the nuts, see how they react. They're going to vomit. And especially if you do it to a 70-year-old man like Billy Crystal.
And here comes the boom, which I think was a separate sneak. There's also the scene where he eats lasagna that was sitting out in his car and gets punched in the stomach and pukes in the ring.
Yeah, so we definitely had our themes that we would use to construct these multi-movie sneak days.
Yeah.
I think we did that maybe 3 or 4 times.
Yes.
Where we got up to 4 movies. Definitely painful. I mean, I would not have been able to podcast the next day the way Wanna.B.O senior intern Christopher was able to do that 4-movie day yesterday and then get on mic today and sit for an hour. That would be, I think, physically, I could not have done that at his age.
Oh, yeah. But also, we were older than he is now when we were doing it.
Yes, we were 30 and he is 20.
Yeah.
So that's true. Yeah. So let's talk. And it was a huge hit on the last AfterB.O or last week's AfterB.O when we talked SNL. Do you want to talk the new episode of Saturday Night Live hosted by Jason Momoa?
Yes, because obviously now the hosts can talk about their movies and they can promote their movies, which is, a huge deal. And SNL is a great vehicle to get people excited about movies and movie stars. Momoa had done a previous hosting spot, which I think was not memorable.
I mean, I think we talked about it last week. There was the hope, like everything with Jason Momoa, that it would be a rock-like. And his first hosting gig was nowhere near the first hosting gig of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It was not a star-making performance. But I think I feel like everyone remembers it was fine. He also was not Steven Seagal.
Well, that's the thing. But that is a wide margin in between. Here's my thing with Momoa. We talked about Chalamet last episode, and Chalamet plays his persona perfectly because he is a serious actor, and he saves his serious acting for his films. When he's on SNL, he has fun and he's playful and he's a little guy who's smirking a little bit, but he keeps it together just enough.
Right.
The thing with Momoa is that he tries to act very hard in these sketches in
Mhm.
a way where he's not a great actor and he's also not funny. He's quirky and charming, but he's not
Mhm.
funny. And I
Mhm.
think that is the problem with his hosting duties, is that he's trying to be all of these things that he's not.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I do think, he's fine in sketches, but nothing really pops with him. He doesn't have that sort of, when Ryan Gosling really commits to a filmed bit, it's like,
No.
oh my, like, Papyrus obviously is a classic, and
Right, or the Santa,
oh,
baby with
Santa Baby is
Vanessa Bayer,
amazing.
classic. Yes, of
Yes.
course.
But, the Roman Empire thing, number 1, that the rapping, okay, it's not really funny. Number
Okay.
2,
You think comedic rapping as a form is done?
it's overdone. But the
Mm.
whole Roman Empire thing, I mean, this is a thing that people were talking about, like, months ago. It's
Yes.
over with the whole Roman Empire thing. I
That was a
mean,
summertime meme, yeah.
this feels to me like leftover shit, because then you have Sarah Squirm pretending to be the woman who went viral on the airplane saying this shit isn't real. And so this felt all really very musty as an episode with
It
its
did, it
reference
did.
points.
Yeah, I would say this was a if we're grading these, this is like a C episode. It
Yes.
wasn't terrible in that there were an effort. We both were doing it live. We were watching the
Yeah.
show in separate houses, separate TVs, but we were both watching it live. And there was nothing that I was watching and felt like my skin crawl, like I was like, dying to fast forward through it.
No.
And I would say the thing with this episode is the one sketch that I would say was a very good sketch. The best thing in the show was to me the final sketch, the Sarah Sherman tennis parody
Yes.
video. I think was the best thing in the show.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised that that sketch was last because I
Uh-huh.
get the weird sketch at 12:50 being the last thing, but to me, this did not feel like a 12:50, it's so weird you gotta put it last sketch. I could have seen this being you do the first live sketch, and then that's the thing that plays right after it, sort of in the Roman Empire rap position.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, it was interesting, where it was placed. I think maybe the bloodiness of it, but we've seen bloodier sort
Oh,
of parodies and filmed bits here
I mean,
that
Julia Child, Dan Aykroyd, the SNL was doing that, 50 years ago.
yes. Yeah, I mean, so it is a weird placement. I do think it was the best of the night. The one thing that stuck out, and I actually texted you last night, is this, I can't even remember who the musical guest was. I don't remember this woman's name, but it smacked so much of Lady Gaga's character in A
Mm,
Star Is Born, Ally, being on
yes,
SNL. Her
yes,
first performance especially felt like, how could you do that? It was
right.
such a similar sort of vibe, and, I'm usually pretty current on musical guests, even if I don't listen to them,
Mhm.
but this
You've always heard of everyone. I'm definitely at the point where I will not have heard of 70% of SNL musical guests. I'm always there
yeah,
waiting for them. Okay, next week's the Foo Fighters. Great. I'm in.
yes, Tate McRae is the name of the young woman, and listen, I'm sure she's fine, I'm sure she's a great person, or she's a complete monster.
Right.
Neither of those matter. I just felt like her performances almost seemed like parody to me.
Mhm. Mhm.
And again, she may be super huge, she may be just emerging, but when I saw her dancing around in like fake football uniform, like cut off sexy football cheerleader Halloween costume, or well, not cheerleader, but like football player Halloween costume, I was like, how could you do that? How could you do that? I'm
Ha
surprised Alec Baldwin didn't introduce her.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I just hope if she's in a relationship that it ends a lot better for her than it did for Ali in A Star Is Born.
If
I hope
your
this
yeah, if your boyfriend's buying a big, huge steak, to feed your dog,
oh, that's bad. Yeah, yeah, check what's her name again? What was this musical guest name?
Tate McRae.
Tate McRae, yes. If your partner says, "I just gotta go home and feed a steak to my dog," run home. You gotta beat him home before he does that.
Oh, she's
But
Canadian. Oh, she's only 20, so she's just starting out. So I'm not
okay,
trying to
good.
be Oh,
Yeah.
she was a finalist on the Canadian, uh oh, the first Canadian finalist on America's reality TV show, So You Think You Can Dance. Alright, okay, so listen, she's
I
moving
mean,
on to bigger, better things.
20 years old, she's a musical guest on SNL.
God
Great for
bless
her.
her.
God
God
bless her.
bless her. Again,
So
great person or monster,
who
no in
knows?
between.
Yeah. So yeah, I love the Sarah Sherman tennis sketch. Great gore, hitting the belly with the tennis ball. There's a hole there. Great bit of the what's his name? Kevin Walker, the one of the young SNL cast members where he's the ball boy,
Oh,
picks up the ball after she gets hit in the stomach, picks up her head after she gets beheaded.
yeah.
Great bit, classic. Another
Mhm.
great Sarah Sherman body horror comedy sketch. Best thing on the show. Um, in terms of Jason Momoa promoting Aquaman, there was
Yes.
no Aquaman parody
Nope.
in this show. He doesn't dress as Aquaman, no superhero stuff. I mean, it feels purposeful. It feels like he's almost saying the less they know that this is where obviously everyone knows what Aquaman is, but the less you show of Aquaman, somehow maybe that's better for the
Yeah.
potential of Aquaman. He did mention loving the sea in his monologue, in a very non-comedic monologue. His monologue was basically, I'm cleaning up the ocean. So,
Yeah, but we've seen SNL do this, and I like this.
okay.
Instead of making him sing
Yes.
or questions from the audience or
Mhm.
whatever,
Mhm.
they're trying to ingratiate this person to you and make you root for them. I mean,
Yep.
this worked really well with Pedro Pascal, who I think actually had a great hosting stint very recently
Yeah,
that
last
really
year,
shot
yeah.
him up in my estimation.
Yeah.
Very much saying
He
like,
may be playing Mr. Fantastic because of how well he did on SNL last year.
absolutely. And so that well, if the scheduling can
If the
be fit.
scheduling works
Yeah,
out,
if
yeah.
it fits in the schedule.
Yeah, you're very miffed about the scheduling being what determines who, gets cast in these Marvel movies.
Well, because that's Marvel's all about scheduling. It's not about heart, it's not about storytelling, it's about who can show up on set or be in the warehouse for the green screen shots at this time during this phase,
Yeah,
right? I mean, the fact that Gwyneth
during this
Paltrow
tax break, yeah.
yeah, people goofed on Gwyneth Paltrow for not knowing what Marvel movie she was in, and now who's laughing?
I gotta say, I
Gwyneth
mean,
Paltrow is.
that is, uh, that is aged very well for Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yes.
A lot has aged well for Gwyneth Paltrow, but that comment where she did not know what Marvel movie she was in, and at the time, a lot of people giving her guff because it was the height of everyone loving Marvel, that has aged well because how does anyone know or care what Marvel movie they're in anymore?
People looked at that as a fault in her
Right,
commitment when it's
right.
really a fault in the whole Marvel machine.
Yes, yes. Because listen, you ask Al Pacino what Godfather movie he was in when he said a certain line, he's gonna know.
Yeah.
He's gonna know, and of course he should know because the Godfather movies are great and you can differentiate them.
Yes.
Can't fault Gwyneth Paltrow for not knowing what Spidey Man, Iron Man movie she was in. But back to and also Gwyneth Paltrow, great SNL host. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Would
Yeah.
would would love to see her back hosting SNL. Did
Um,
some fun stuff with Ben Affleck, Matt Damon cameos back in the day. But
but
Momoa.
but I do think this has worked before. I think it was sort of all over the place. He was like, I was on Baywatch and I lived in Iowa and I wanted to live in Hawaii and now I love the ocean and I love being Aquaman and and single-use plastic bottles. I'm trying to eliminate them. So,
Yeah.
like, it didn't tug at my
He was
heartstrings. I know
frantic.
his mother was there, and he loves his mom, which that's great. We all love our moms.
Mhm.
So, but I mean, that's
Not
so
everyone does. Not
but
everyone does.
I was gonna say,
We
but
both
that
do. We both do.
yeah, but that's almost so universal that it becomes non-universal, right? You
Mhm.
know, it's like,
Mhm.
it
Right.
okay, we get that, but that's very much like being like, "I like peanut butter and chocolate together."
Right.
Whatever. Of
Right. Right.
course, that's
Right.
not gonna make me, like, want you to succeed. And so, that sort of didn't take off, and then I don't think this hosting stint is going to make him um, pop any bigger and make anybody rush out and be like, "I need to see Aquaman,"
I definitely don't
because
think it helps.
of his charisma or because of this or because they're either gonna see Aquaman because they wanna see Aquaman or they're not. This did not help. I don't think it hurt because I don't think he completely bombed. He didn't go on
No.
some sort of, like, rant at the beginning,
Right.
which can all he didn't talk about women's stinky parts like Martin Lawrence did in a
Yes. Yes.
famous edited, monologue.
Yeah, yeah. When Comedy Central does the hour version of this SNL, they're not gonna have to cut to black during Jason Momoa's monologue and insert scrolling text saying, "This is
We
when
t
Jason Momoa started talking about women washing themselves." He
Yes,
didn't
yeah.
do that. He didn't do that.
And just so people know, when I said women's stinky parts, I'm saying that's what Martin Lawrence said. That is not what
Yes.
I am saying.
Yes, you're not
So
talking about women's stinky parts
no, no,
yourself.
I'm not saying that anything is fragrant. I that was what he said, which was so distasteful that it was edited out
It
of
was
the
edited out of
broadcast.
yes, when it aired on Comedy Central, yes.
So yeah, I think this was sort of a, didn't blow my skirt up.
Yeah, yeah, the Weekend Update characters didn't have much going. Oh, okay, here is the one thing I liked other than the final Sarah Sherman sketch. I did like the Andrew Dismukes, uh, James Austin Johnson, Imagine Dragons parody as a
Remember
Weekend Update.
lizards?
Yeah, I like that. It wasn't again, it didn't blow my socks off as far as Weekend Update pieces go. This wasn't Dana Carvey's Old Man, for instance.
Yeah.
It wasn't that level where it's just like, wow, that's a Weekend Update piece. But I thought that was, to me, the second funniest thing on the show, which maybe
But
again speaks to what this episode was.
yeah, but even that feels stale because Imagine Dragons, yes, they're still a popular band, but they're not really like in the zeitgeist in the
No,
way where
but I think
uh
that's part of it is that when something falls so far out of the zeitgeist, then it's okay to make fun of it even if it's not timely. Like you either have to catch something like right when it's in the zeitgeist, or you could do something from the past, which I think that's where Imagine Dragons falls now. Unlike doing a parody of that woman who went crazy on a plane over the summer.
yeah.
That's like both out of the zeitgeist, but still too recent.
So they could definitely do a Two Girls, One Cup parody
Yes.
now.
Yes, you could do that now. You couldn't have done
Or
that
like
like
Lonely Girl 15 or something.
yes, yeah, 100%. You could do Lonely Girl 15 parody because you couldn't have done that a year after the web series came out,
Mhm.
but you could do that now. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a nostalgia parody.
Alright. I mean, then in those terms, I mean, I like those 2 dudes. I did think it was funny. It was exactly what you needed in that space.
Yeah.
And it was
Uh,
good to see Update actually have more than one, segment like that
yeah.
and be a little longer than it has been because 'cause they've been
It's
pretty short.
it's I think it's the first Weekend Update this season that has had more than correspondent piece.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, yeah, nothing else really strikes me. I'll tell you, here's the thing that struck me the most on this episode, other than the Sarah Sherman tennis sketch, was just the very simple title card leading into a commercial that Emma Stone is hosting on Saturday, December 2nd.
5
That's my big
timers.
Five Timers Club. She's going to be out there promoting Poor Things. Maybe from we're not the Streamo boys, huh? but
Huh?
I guess she'll be promoting her Nathan Fielder Showtime series. But
The
she's out there
Curse.
promoting Poor Things when she hosts on December 2nd. So
And
that's
that
huge.
is she will if I mean, listen, I'm not gonna go on a limb here by saying I think she's probably gonna nail this and knock it out of the park like she always does. She's not had a bad hosting
No.
stint at all. That is definitely going to get people to see Poor Things
Yes. Yes.
because the awareness of it will be so high because
Yes.
of her really nailing it on SNL.
Yes. Yes. And it's coming out closer to the release date. I mean, this Jason Momoa, the timing of him hosting Aquaman doesn't come out for a month and a half or,
Mhm.
5, 4, 5, 6 weeks. Poor Things, I think, comes out if she's hosting on December 2nd. Poor Things is scheduled to come out in the United States on December 8th. So she
Yeah.
hosts on a Saturday and it comes out that Friday. So she gets to, in her monologue, say, this weekend, go see
Yes.
my new movie, Poor Things.
Yeah.
People will be watching videos of her sketches all week, and there'll be Poor Things commercials served up at the
During.
top of those sketches. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's great timing for her hosting SNL. I'm very excited for that episode. She'll
And
do her
as
her
yeah.
girl in the poster who comes alive
Mhm.
sketch, and we'll all love that. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited. Yeah, that is gonna be a big one, of course. We will review it
Yeah,
because we
yeah,
have to. She is
yes.
somebody I was thinking about with her doing the Showtime show, and she's in big movies, and she's in this, Oscar caliber film. Emma Stone might not have to eat the hot wings. I
Has she already? I think she may have already eaten the
I
hot
don't
wing.
think she ate the hot wings.
I mean, we're doing it. F it, we're doing it live on air right now. I'm Googling Emma Stone hot ones, and no, it doesn't look like she has. Scarlett Johansson has. That's interesting.
No, that makes sense. Emma Stone is more of a butts in the seats movie star.
Oh, I mean, I love Emma Stone, but ScarJo, she's had her Marvel movies, and then she's had stuff like Jojo Rabbit overperform. She's had some
That
action movies done
of
well.
course, you're gonna say Lucy. Anytime I
She
mention her, you
had
go,
Lucy.
"Lucy, Lucy, Lucy."
Well,
That's the only fucking one, Lucy.
I mean, but it was this giant
Lucy was
movie.
fucking 13 years ago. No, it's probably like 11 years ago. When did Lucy come
Listen,
out?
well,
2013?
I do not think that trying to downgrade ScarJo as a star is a worthwhile endeavor.
Lucy,
But listen,
2014. I'm sorry, 10 years
listen,
ago.
at this moment, I agree. Emma Stone is she's a true movie star. And obviously that means something different than it did in the 90s. She doesn't get to make a legal thriller that makes 95 million domestic on a $30 million budget. That's not how things work. But something like The Favorite was a overperformer at the box office for the size of movie it was. And Poor Things could be that because she's
Mhm.
in it and people will know it exists because she's in it and want to go see it because she's in it. No,
I
listen.
think the
Does
closer
she
we
have to
get
eat the hot ones? We'll see. She may eat the hot ones for Poor Things because it's a small movie. She wants that Oscar. She wants people to see it. I think Emma Stone could eat the hot ones, and America will fall in love with her all
there's a
over again.
difference between and we have to do a special episode of that about this
Yeah,
with our
yeah,
list
about
because
the
it
hot
is a
ones. Yeah,
very short list of people who do not have to eat the hot wings in order to get their movies out there, right?
right.
There's a difference between having to do it
Yeah,
and choosing to do it. And I
yeah,
think Emma would choose to do it to promote something like The Curse or Poor
yes,
Things that she believes in. That's what my Bradley Cooper situation is, where it's like he does not have to eat hot wings because Bradley Cooper is Bradley Cooper, but he might eat hot wings for Maestro because Maestro is in his heart. It's a movie that he loves and he wants other people to see it. And he wants it to be something that
right, right.
permeates society in a way that it might not get a chance to if he doesn't eat hot wings and fry his stomach and his brain
Yeah,
with terrible tasting hot sauces.
I don't think he ever will. I
But
don't think he ever will.
there's a bigger chance that he does it than Denzel or Leo does it.
Yes,
They're
or
up
like
there.
Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves will never eat the hot wings.
I disagree.
Never,
He
never.
might do it as a for fun.
Okay, we listen.
This
That
is
is
a
a
separate
full episode.
episode.
That's a separate episode because I could not disagree more strongly that Keanu Reeves would ever eat these hot wings on Hot Ones. Never, ever, ever. I think I could. I doubt Bradley Cooper would, but I agree it's possible. I think Emma Stone, she may have already eaten them. That episode might be in the can, and they were just waiting to release it until the strike is over. So
Yeah, because I mean, the last few episodes, like I said on a previous exclusive web only exclusive, it's just been a bunch of shitheads this season.
yeah. So Emma Stone, they may be getting her in that studio to eat those hot wings. Clayton, I mean, I think this has been a tremendous AfterBO. I don't know if we have to go over anything else.
No, we did actually get to yell at each other, which we do in every one
Thank
of
God.
these.
Yeah. Listen, if that is what's going to get the buzz out there for people to subscribe to the YouTube channel, the BO Boys, yeah, we'll yell at each other every episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're listen, we are dying for an excuse. Just give us an
Mm,
excuse.
yeah.
Yeah. Give us an excuse. All right, everyone. So that has been another episode of the AfterBO web exclusive. Of course, full episodes of the podcast are here on the YouTube channel. So check those out. Subscribe, tell your friends, and thanks for watching the